Hello there, welcome gents, my name is Boy Waldron and welcome to this final reveal of Airfix's 1/48 scale Jaguar GR.1A. Right, really nice build. Very super impressed with Airfix on this one. I can't say how much Airfix have massively been improving. So let's just take a quick look at the final reveal of this. What I want to show you is the surface detail. Hopefully you can see how Airfix, that surface detail is like competing with Edard and Tamiya and all those lovely sublime surface details you do see from those manufacturers. It's so nice to see Airfix start to kind of compete in that way. Absolutely gorgeous all the way around. A few things I'd like to sort of note. We'll go through the instructions and we'll sort of, you know, break this down nicely, but I do like the surface detail. I absolutely love the wheel wells as well. The wheel wells are full of loads and loads of detail in there. Absolutely gorgeous wheel well detail in there. Very impressed with that. Even the exhausts, very impressed with the exhaust as well, and even the cockpit out of the box. Right, let's just take that off. The seat belt, even the pilot's pretty half decent in this. I don't know how well you're going to see the cockpit, but it is a pretty damn good cockpit for out of the box. Definitely well detailed all around for Airfix. Really big changes it looks like coming from Airfix. You can even tell by the different color of the plastics and the way it is. It's almost like they've shifted their manufacture of their molded plastic, or they've had new machines or something's definitely changed at Airfix. So very exciting. So let's break this down. Let's take a look at the instructions, which sadly I did accidentally throw this kit out, so I don't actually have the instructions, but we do have Scalemates. Scalemates is a really nice site for finding out about kits. They have a massive catalogue about kits and when they were new tooled, and you can even download their instructions, as you can see just here. So hopefully the iPad will work on camera. So that was just the description of it. Did find it useful how they started the instructions off. We've kind of just shown you where all the weapons went, but also where the decals go and everything. It's quite nice that they put all that kind of stuff in the front, made things, you know, that little bit easier to identify where these little decals go. Cockpit went together absolutely beautifully, no problems. As I've just, I mean, it's a bit hard to see when it is built together. I'm trying not to break anything here, trying to get you to focus. But the cockpit was really good. Really did enjoy that. No real issues going on there. Very fancy cockpit. Moving along, yes, we had the wheel wells. Right, again, those wheel wells are really nice. All up the sides of the walls. Right, you know, no kind of area in there was left blank for just generally just blank. It was all had detail, so that was rather good. I didn't cut the nose cone, right, but there is a jig in there if you needed to. Moving along, put in our first part of the fuselage section together. Had no problems there. Maybe this little glass part here could have maybe fitted a little bit better. I just noticed I had to do a little bit of filling around that area. How did it turn out actually? It turned out, get you to focus, turned out all right. I mean, you can kind of see a little bit there. I did sort of have to fill it a bit. Took a little bit of work, but turned out not to be so bad. Again, we've already looked at the wheel wells. Absolutely amazing. No problems there, no fit issues. Again, just moving along. See, now this area here, I thought that was going to be a bit of a problem area, but we can actually now look at that. So I mean, this recess panel line just here, I mean, that is the piece that's going in there, and these fins sort of cover up that join line as well, so that kind of makes it not so much of a problem. but you can't really sort of tell that we've actually glued that piece in there. So rather good there. Sometimes a lot of manufacturers, you can sort of tell you've glued it in there without going to excessive amounts of filling, sanding and scribing. Now bringing these two the two fuselage halves together, which as you could see we just sort of slotted in there, there was a little bit of a sand, a little bit of a test fit just to get it to fit better, but I mean, if you look at it closely, you can sort of tell there's a join line there. I could have probably done a little bit more filling, sanding and scribing, but still the fit was really good, very acceptable indeed. Moving along, again, nothing to write home about. The air intakes, you know, because we get this jig, I do think it's turned out not bad at all. I mean, you can with a, you know, if you really look at it, you could kind of tell there's a join line there, but it's still not bad. I did show in this, I did this as a rapid video build, so I did show just kind of like just there is supposed to be a join line, but I basically completely filled it in and made it completely smooth as if there was no join line there, so that really does help as well. So yeah, air intakes were good on this. Then this, again, when I did the inbox review before I built it, I was kind of like, this is probably going to be a problem, and knowing Airfix, it's going to be a problem. But actually it was so surprisingly good. I mean, if you could just see just here and then look at where it's supposed to be, it's kind of just like so hard to actually see. I believe it's there where the join line is. Maybe you could just see it a little bit on this spine area, but it's so hard to see where it goes then here and here. It was so lovely fitting. The opposite end, I mean, you do have to get out some, I'm trying to pick this up without breaking it, you do have to get out some clamps. I do believe the join line is just along there, but to be fair, it's really, again, hard to see. It was pretty damn good. I think there was only a little bit of filler and sanding that I did there, nothing major. So again, a really sort of one that I would normally go is going to be a problem, wasn't a problem with this kit. Again, a few of the little bits and bobs, nothing sort of major. The exhausts, as I've just shown you, they do look really good for out of the box. Actually, that was one thing as well. These air intakes, we do get covers on them, right, as you can see, which do look good. And until like you either do some aftermarket, sort of have some aftermarket parts, or do some scratch building, you know, you want those covers on, because it just goes into a hole and like there's just nothing else in there. Little bit of a shame, probably the one thing I could only sort of pick about the kit. All these, you know, flaps and slats and ailerons and all that, absolutely lovely fitting, as well with the landing gear as well. A little bit complicated, admittedly. When I was building this, you really do have to study this, because if you look at the instructions, it's very a lot going on at this part, and I almost did get some parts mixed up, but you just follow it and just test fit and concentrate, and you do get there in the end. So the landing gear is just, you know, take your time with that, because as you can see, it does look pretty intense, right, but you will get there in the end. And then it's just lots of little bits and bobs, I do believe. You know, the canopy, right, I mean, you know, for Airfix, you know, the one of the things that about Airfix of past is just like the canopies seem to always get messed up with cobwebs and spidering effects, but these were crystal clear, and you don't need to glue this canopy in either, right, because it does just nicely, you can nicely kind of slot it in and it holds that perfect position. As you can see there, pretty easy, no need to worry about that, because we don't want to glue them, because we'll just snap them in half and stuff. Just following through the instructions, yes, we've just got the pylons, the weapons, and that looks to be it. Right, so that is the instructions, that's how it went together. As I say, not really many problems, actually more of a surprising how things went together because of our past history with Airfix, and we know what Airfix is kind of like. So very surprising how well it went together. It's gone together like some of these top manufacturers out there, so I'm very much highly recommending this. In fact, in all honesty, I've not had so much fun building a model since building this Jaguar. It was just so nice, so fun to actually go off and build, right? So the build side of it is like, you know, we're talking like 10 out of 10 here. Definitely recommended. Going on to the spraying and weathering. This is maybe a bit of personal choice, but I forget what colours I used. I think it was the Mr. Hobby 330 and 331. Don't quote me on that. I do like them colours, but if you ever look at reference photos of these Jaguars, you kind of look at this camo scheme and some of them seem dark, some of them seems really light. I mean, there's doesn't seem like reference photos wise, like, you know, it's so hard. Again, you know, it's on computers and stuff, and then there's different weatherings of different aircrafts and all this stuff. So I kind of like the ones that looked a bit dark, my personal preference. So the colors I used didn't come out as dark as I wanted. So one thing I have gone off and done with this actual Jaguar here was I thinned down a mixture of maybe like 10% paint to 90% thinners, pure black, right? And I just sprayed it all over like a filter, just to lightly darken generally all around with the decals on and everything. And I think it's just give that a bit of a darker look than it would have been if I left it, and it hasn't really kind of ruined anything or anything like that. Looking at it, I mean, yes, some of you might notice that I've put sidewinders on here. The instructions didn't say that you could. I just kind of wanted to be honest with you, because you can't have the ECM pods, because this is the older version, so they didn't have them ECM pods and stuff, and I just wanted to put them on there. I did see some reference photos with them on some planes. I don't know how accurate it is, but I just kind of personally liked that. And other than that, I didn't go majorly strong with the weathering. I did put some remove before flight tags on there as well, just to kind of jazz it up a little bit with the pilot in there. But kind of went a little bit more neat than mega weathering than I would sort of normally. So hopefully you like that. And I do like the exhaust cans. That was done, let's get you to focus, that was done with the Mr. Hobby colours, metal colours, the ones that you buff. But I didn't kind of put a gloss coat or a matte coat on. I left them to the end, and they're just kind of like bare plastic, and they just look better when you do it that way. So they're all good too. So other than that, definitely a big thumbs up here at Genesis Models for Airfix's Jaguar. In fact, it's more than a big thumbs up. It's highly recommended. I've absolutely fallen in love with it, and I do really want to build another one, which admittedly I've already done one, so I can't really show you a second one. But if I do the second one with, like, I'm waiting for all the aftermarket parts to come out, like resin cockpits and all this, and I just want to get all the upgraded stuff that you can get for it and kind of make it a bit of a, you know, upgrade in a Jaguar with all the aftermarket parts. So hopefully I can get away with showing you building this again, because I really do love this kit. Other than that, sadly we've come to the end of this review. Again, highly recommended. I think it's about £60 ish, or was it £54, new this year, 2025. So yeah, other than that, until next time, as always, my name is Bobby Waldron. This is Genesis Models, and I hope you've enjoyed.